Yo, I'm here. Just trying to get my life together. Give me a second. Where's Twitter? Let me share this out on the Telegram. Let's see, Telegram. All right, I need to get a mod that just, or a thing that'll just post these. All right, I'm here. We'll give like 5 minutes. Oh, get the lights. We always gotta start off with the lights low. All right. What's going on, everybody? Man, I had a crazy story, but I'll tell everybody about it in a second. Ooh, I don't like that. I don't like that. Yo. What's up, chat? Somebody say hi. Somebody on X, just say hi so I know you can hear me. Just type hello, GM, GN, whatever you're feeling. So I know you guys can hear me. You guys and girls. Oh, thank you, yo. Semper, yo, you're turning into one of the most responsible people in this group chat. What's going on, Semper, GM? All right, I'm gonna start. I'll tell you guys what happened to me in like 2 minutes. Let me just take a look at, make sure everything's set up properly. Give me 1 second. I'll just put the game on. But does this work? It does work. Oh, this is not going to be entertaining, actually, now that I think about it. I've actually done some changes to this, which I really like. I'll show you guys what I was working on over the weekend, or I guess the weekends now, Thursday and Friday, when I was out in New York, which was a good time, but not very productive from a developing standpoint. But I'll give you guys a lowdown. All right, I'll get started. You guys can watch the stream later. If you're on Pump, you can obviously clip these things up and send the clips to people. So basically, I was trying to get back here earlier and do the stream way earlier. And what happened is that I don't know if you're not in the United States, you probably don't know about this, but the United States government is shut down, which means they're not doing any work, which means a lot of the government services are also shut down. And one of the main government services in the United States is the air traffic controllers, or the people that basically direct the airplanes. And so when they're basically running at like half staff, or barely running, And so what ends up happening is if you're trying to leave an airport and there's a lot of planes and there's not that many people working, they shut down a runway and then you have to wait forever to take off. So what was supposed to take us like 10 minutes to get from basically pushing back the airplane to getting into the air took like 95 minutes or something. It's like over an hour and a half. And we were just like sitting in the line on the tarmac for like an hour and a half. So that wasn't fun. And then we finally get in the air, we're cruising along, everything is cool. And then like halfway through the flight, I don't know, we were over, I don't know, maybe like Colorado or just before Colorado, maybe over Illinois. And halfway through the flight, somebody on the plane goes like, oh, and they make some crazy noise. And then they're like, we need a doctor. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I was in the middle of programming. I'm trying to get this stuff done for you guys, but it's like a medical emergency. So everybody gets up. There's all these doctors on the plane. They're all rushing by where I was sitting because I had a little like aisle in front of me. So everybody's rushing by and getting through. And then I was like, oh man, our flight's going to get diverted, right? We're going to have to do an emergency landing, get this person off the plane, get them to a hospital. And then, so everybody's standing up on the airplane, even though the seatbelt sign's on. Then they finally like stabilize the person. And they're like, okay, this person is good enough to make it to San Francisco. Is the stream still live? It looks like it's live. My whole screen just like blacked out. Because of the medical emergency, they have to have the paramedics at the arrival airport come on and like see what's up with the person. So when we landed, we had to wait 15 minutes, and it even took longer because everybody was late to their connections. People were going to like China and all over the place. And so people were trying to get off of the plane, even though the paramedics were trying to get on the plane, and it was just madness. So it took another 15 minutes. And so it was like almost 2 hours late to get here. And then I was just tired. So I had to go get some food. But I'm here now. I'm here. So let's see. I've got a little itinerary that we'll go through. So let me switch. Wait, let me just make sure this thing is still live because my whole computer just flashed for a second. I don't know if this thing is still running. Yeah, it looks like it's still running. Just flashed. Yeah, okay, it looks like we're good. I don't know. Looks like we're good. Okay. Wait, what is this? Oh man, see this? I need to figure out a way to make this screen sharing thing work properly every single time. I need like my own window. All right, there we go. All right, cool. So this is what we're going to talk about today. So the first thing is I appreciate everybody who asked about the who gave me some feedback about other products that you see that are built like Bloxwap. So last week I got invited to attend an accelerator, like a startup accelerator, that's out in Dubai. And it's with one of the pieces of technology that we're using that underpins the game. And so they're going to host us out there. They're going to give us a bunch of tips on like marketing, storytelling, narrative, all of the stuff that I think everybody who's part of the community would agree that we need a lot of help on. They're like professionals at this, and so they're going to help us kind of get our story and our narrative underway, which I think will be awesome. I'll also get to meet other builders in the Solana ecosystem because I'm still very new to the Solana ecosystem. I've only been in Solana for about 3 months now, and I think a lot of the people that are in the pump community and then also on X have really helped kind of steer me and guide me through to some of the right places, as well as some private conversations that I've had. So the accelerator is going to be probably, I think it's like 10 days or 12 days. And then after that, we're going to go to Abu Dhabi and go to Breakpoint, which is like Solana's big conference that they host every year. So we'll be there. So if you're going to be at Breakpoint and you want to meet up, that would be cool. The second thing is the Farcaster Dev Day. So I went to New York actually for Farcaster Dev Day. And so for people that aren't familiar with Farcaster, it is a social network very similar to Twitter, but it is crypto first, crypto native. So when you sign up, you get a wallet, and then all of your actions that you take on the platform can be kind of tied into your wallet somehow. So one of the reasons why I've been pretty integrated into the Farcaster ecosystem is that they have these things called mini apps, which is basically like a website, but you don't have to have you don't have to know that you need a wallet and all of the logic around connecting your wallet. And I would say a lot of the things that are annoying about creating a crypto wallet are removed because Farcaster kind of takes the brunt of that load. So I've been building a couple of mini apps in the ecosystem, and it's been pretty good. But they had a dev day to kind of talk to developers and get feedback and share their new vision for how they're thinking about the future of their product. And it's really interesting because they're leaning really heavily into trading and into, I would say, kind of like more of the financialization aspects of crypto, and leaning a little bit further away from the social side and like the social aspect. And one of the announcements they made is that they bought Clanker, which is pretty much like a meme coin launch pad, very similar to Pump, but it's on Base. So they're leaning into that pretty heavily, which I think is going to be interesting and good. Well, good for the ecosystem on the Base side, and then interesting from an overall standpoint of what the landscape looks like. So I was there, met a lot of really cool people, got a lot of feedback on Bloxwap specifically, because a lot of people are like, oh, what are you working on now? Because I've built a bunch of projects in the last couple of months, or last year, I would say. And so I showed a lot of people Bloxwap, lots of really, really good feedback. This kind of ties into the connections, but I made a couple of connections there that can give us intros to places that are like good accelerators and other good founders and good builders in the Solana ecosystem. So the dev day was really, really positive. And then while I was there, I actually got to swing by the headquarters of the trenches. So I went to Pump headquarters and did a quick interview with some people on the team there. So I've got some connections now at Pump, which would be really, really cool. They're really looking to help streamers, get more value out of the platform. And so I just kind of told them about my experience. There's some questions coming in. I'll answer them in a second. So I just told them about my experience, and it was a really good like little session with them, just to kind of see how they're thinking about the platform, how they're thinking about the creators on the platform, and how they're thinking about building up the product. So I'm going to reach out. I'm going to get an intro to the person who's like in charge of, basically building up some of the streamer experiences, and hopefully we'll be able to get some like better prioritization on the stream or on the website. And that should obviously help visibility for the project and help people come on and play more Bloxwap, and obviously tune into these streams as well. So that was Pump talks, or Pump Talk, which was really good. The other one are some UI updates. So on the UI, I know if you guys look at the UI now, right, there's this, which this is kind of how it looks right now. And I was telling people, I was like, there's something about this that's not right. And the funny thing is, I've seen a few other people that are building similar products, and they've kind of mimicked this UI. And obviously, I think it's good, because I feel like this is the best solution, right? Where you can kind of like tap. My mouth is off there. You can tap, and then your taps come in, and your barrier. You hit this barrier. I think this is the best solution, one of the best designs for a product. So you're not having people scroll and move everything all over the place. But yesterday I was at this bar called PubKey, which is in New York, and it's like a Bitcoin bar. It's actually pretty cool. They got like all this Bitcoin paraphernalia all over the place, and you can obviously buy a beer with Bitcoin and stuff like that. But I was there, and I was talking to a friend, and as we were chatting, I was trying to figure out, and I have a picture, I need to post it, but I was trying to figure out how to make this UI like more engaging, because it doesn't look like anything's moving. It looks really static. It doesn't look alive. So what I did was actually have this now. So if you look at this is what the UI is going to start to look like once I push these changes. So now it kind of has, the idea that I was going for was if you've seen like the airplane altitude gauges or whatever, this is kind of giving that same vibe. I don't know why the price of ETH isn't moving. Come on, ETH, do something. Let me see if I switch to Bitcoin. Maybe Bitcoin's actually doing something. Everybody's on vacation right now, apparently. There we go. So there we go. So now you can see like Bitcoin's moving, right? So this is a more lively looking user experience. And I think that it's going to give more interactivity as people are playing and watching these numbers go and, placing their predictions and watching stuff move around. So this is broken still though. So this is still trying to hit the price. I need to incorporate something to make it work a little bit smoother. But yeah, so this is more of a lively interface, and I think it kind of helps visualize what's going on a lot better. Oh, this is also with the old filter, so it's going to be moving kind of crazy. Here we go. This is more sane. We're going to change the UI to kind of look like this. And then also this will tie really nicely into the whole betting long, betting short, and drift perp, that whole narrative. So I think this will be really, really good and really, really clean. And so I should be able to wrap this up pretty soon, get this UI out so you guys can test it on practice. And then once this is good to go, I think this is one of the last things that I really wanted to kind of get knocked out before we should be ready to go. Because like I said, before I talked last stream about how there's like 3 different types of these games. I think this is the type of game that you can launch. It will have a good experience on the cold start. So that means somebody who's brand new can just show up by themselves. They can play the game. They can come in here. They can add leverage, and make these, 100x leverage bets, either long or short. And it's an experience that is a really good single player experience. And there's also liquidity to make it a really good multiplayer experience. So this is all kind of tied into what the new look is going to be. And I'm going to try to push a version of this out a little bit later today so that people can see this and kind of give me some feedback in the feedback channel in Telegram. So there was, so these are kind of the UI updates that are going to be coming. And I think these changes are going to be really, really good for making the user experience just a lot smoother when you're playing the game. Let's see. Next, what was the next thing? Connections I talked about. So I actually had somebody who was an ex-Google designer actually help me design this and help me figure out how to get this to look like, to go from, basically looking like this experience where nothing looks like it's moving to this experience here where you've got this like actual active motion and everything has like some organic movement to it. So it was really good to get some help and get some feedback. And I think this looks like a lot better from a game perspective where it's like, it meets the criteria where people are like, hey, I want stuff stable in the middle. You can kind of make your predictions. Everything's kind of not moving vertically, but the prices are actually moving up and down as you're playing the game. So I think this is going to be probably the final UI that we're going to ship with. Maybe like some of these numbers might be a little smaller and the green might be a little lighter, but this is kind of the direction I think we're going to be going. Let's see. And then daily posts. So I actually talked to this marketing company when I was in New York also, and they had a really good idea. But then I talked to the co-founder of Farcaster, and he also had another really good point. So the marketing company was basically saying, and I think everybody who's in the community agrees that we need to do more marketing and kind of promote the product a little bit more. And so what's going on is a couple of people on our team are going to help me build 30 days of basically posts about Bloxwap and kind of keeping people engaged. And the goal is to have these posts go up until November 27th when I kick off the accelerator. So we'll start on Monday, which will be the 27th, and we're going to go for a month. And we're just going to have like daily posts to talk about the game, talk about tap trading, talk about user UI design choices, talk about game elements, just talk about stuff so that I can kind of like establish myself as like, okay, this guy kind of knows what he's talking about when it comes to tap trading, when it comes to prediction markets and the different types of experiences you can build so the user experiences you can build and then what they're powered by on the back end. Like I just saw another team, they're actually using the LMSR technology that we were talking about last week, and they're building that into their prediction market. So I think there's a lot of really cool ideas around having these daily posts and kind of getting the marketing going. There's also the regular marketing stuff, which we also need to kick up. I don't want to start it too early because obviously we're not in prod yet, and I don't want to burn all the leads that we have on our wait list. But we are going to kick that up as well. And then the last thing is the product piece, which is, and then after the product, we can do a little bit of Q&A, and then I need to get back to programming. But the product piece, so one of the things that we're looking at is obviously we're using Magic Block, and we're going to be using them we're going to be using their ephemeral rollup to basically run our own version of the game. And what my brother and I have been looking into is how do we take that game and run like a full-on perp dex order book inside the ephemeral rollup. Because our goal is to, I've always said, our goal is to make our game go fast. I think the speed is going to be our moat, and not only in development and like iteration and figuring out how to make better user experiences, but also in terms of how the product works, how the liquidity is accessed, how the platform runs. I think going fast is going to be a value proposition that's going to serve us well in the future. So we're working on designing a fully vertically integrated kind of like perp dex, perp exchange that's going to run underneath, powered by basically this whole concept of delegating and undelegating your Solana state. So that's just something that we're working on in the back end. We're looking into how to design it, how to measure, making sure that everything is working properly, and making sure that we're gonna be able to, that we're not gonna let's like completely blow the whole system up by putting that in. And then I think we'll probably introduce it as a separate game, or like as a separate version of the game where it would be the same market, but you might play in a different style of the game. So we're looking at that as well. That's kind of like way out in the future roadmap. And so that's that. And now as far as like going to mainnet, like I said, I think we've got a good UI now, and there's a few more things we have to do. We can do the perp longs and perp shorts. I just need to do a few more tests, and I thought I was going to be ready to do the test today, but I'm not. So it's probably going to be Tuesday, I would say. We'll do a new test, and then on Tuesday we should be able to get, I would say, the go or no go on like an actual mainnet date. Because by that date we should have everything that we need to basically do all the perps, all the longs, all the shorts. We've got all of the wallet integration working. I got the what's it called? Remember how we had to get USDC from Circle? So Drift has its own like USDC fork so that you could mint like as much of it as you want. And so if you're on, what is it, DevNet? I don't know if this is published or not yet, but if you're on DevNet and you're playing live, yeah. So this now when you deposit, you'll actually just get 1,000 USDC immediately. This just calls this is broken. Okay. I gotta fix this. Let me fix this real quick. Fix deposit button in balance action on DevNet to call Drift. So this needs to call Drift here, and then down here there's a deposit here. This is probably also calling the wrong thing. Yeah, this needs to call Drift too. Deposit, call Drift, and in menu. So I'll fix this today also. And so what will happen is if you just click on this, you can basically just get like $1,000 at a time. So it's going to act very similar to practice mode, where you'll just be able to click, and how you can just click and just get money showing up. Mainnet is going to work very similar, or DevNet's going to work very similar to that. And then mainnet is going to be, let me switch back to live. And then mainnet is going to, obviously, when you click on this, it's going to bring up the Privy or Privy on-ramp, which is either going to go to Coinbase or to, what's the other one? What's the other fiat on-ramp? It's not Moonshot. I can't remember, but their logo is purple also. So it'll go to one of those two. Coinbase or the other one I can't remember right now. So yeah, that should be it. And then once we got that going and we can do another test like we did, was it like 2 weeks ago or no, a week ago on Monday? I think we should be good to figure out when we're going to launch. So I think Tuesday will be a good day for us to know if we're good to go or not. Uh-oh, feed died. So yeah, that's kind of where we are right now. If you have any questions, throw them in whatever chat you're in. Arena, what's up, Zen Girl? What's up, Brown? If you're in, let's see, if you're on Pump or if you're on X or YouTube, I could take questions from all other places. And if there's not that many questions, I mean, it's Saturday. People are probably chilling. The only thing I got to do is I'm just going to get back to programming. So. Do live coding. What you guys did not come to see. Let's see. So yeah, these numbers are big. All right, I don't see any questions. Nobody's on Telegram asking me anything, so I'm gonna head out. All right, I'll post these updates. I'll post some updates on X, just like as stuff is getting updated and status is getting updated. So we'll chat on there. All right, everybody. Catch you later. Tuesday. That's our pre-launch date. Okay, let's go.